Thanks for watching. All opinions are my own and not of any employer. Let's get started.
You know, for years, we've all seen AI in these glossy keynotes and really flashy demos. But now, it's smashing into the real world, the messy, regulated, budget-constrained reality of an actual business. And in that world, where AI systems are touching sensitive health information or revenue workflows or board-level risk, well, we need a lot more than just hype. We need an architecture. So in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build one, layer by layer.
This quote just nails the problem, doesn't it? If you've been around in tech for a while, you probably remember the chaos of early computer networking before the OSI model gave us all a common language. It brought order. Well, today AI is in this state of brilliant, but let's be honest, chaotic expansion. We need that same kind of standard, that shared blueprint to bring some order to securing it. And that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
All right, so here's the plan. First, we'll tackle the AI strategy problem and look at an incomplete blueprint that a lot of folks are using. Then we'll bring in the missing governance layer, take a full tour of the AI stack, and finally, we'll make this whole model actually work for you with a clear action plan.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Just saying we're using AI is not a strategy. It's just not. And saying we have controls isn't a security architecture. Right now, companies are rushing to deploy AI without a real plan, and that's unleashing these huge risks that are just lurking in the shadows of the tech stack. We need a way to drag those risks out into the light.
Okay, so a really good starting point for getting on the same page is IBM's 5-layer AI stack. It's a clean, technical way to break it down. At the very bottom, you've got infrastructure, your GPUs, your servers. Sitting on top of that is the model, the LLM, the brain. That brain gets its fuel from the data layer. Then the orchestration layer is like the control plane, making all the workflows happen. And right at the top, the application layer is what users actually see and touch. It's a fantastic model, but it's missing something absolutely vital.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? A technical map is pretty useless if nobody is accountable for what happens on the journey. If something goes wrong, if the AI hallucinates and gives out dangerous medical advice, or a customer's private data gets leaked through a chatbot, who's on the hook for that? A purely technical model leaves that fundamental question completely unanswered.
Because here's the thing, risk doesn't just live in one neat little box. It's not just an infrastructure problem or a data problem. It cuts across everything. A vulnerability way down in your infrastructure can be exploited all the way up through the application. Bad data can poison your model. An insecure agent in the orchestration layer can abuse its privileges. That's why you can't just hand security off to one team or one layer. It has to be woven into the very fabric of the whole stack.
So this is the fix. We take that solid 5-layer technical model and we build it on a brand new foundation, Layer 0, governance, risk, and compliance. This is the secret sauce that makes the entire stack governable. It turns it from just a 5-story tech building into a structure with a solid foundation, a clear building code, and a city plan that makes sure everything works together safely.
All right, so let's dive in. We're going to take a tour of this stack layer by layer. And for each one, we'll break down what it really means for the security pros, for the tech teams building this stuff, and for the business leaders who are ultimately responsible.
Let's start with that foundation, Layer 0. Now, let's be super clear here. This is not code, it's not a product you can just go buy. It's all about intentional decision-making. This is where you, as an organization, define your AI risk appetite, what you will and won't do. It's where you set the actual policies for what trustworthy AI means for your brand. Get this wrong, and your entire AI house is basically built on sand.
So what does this actually mean for different folks? Well, for security pros, Layer 0 is how you turn an abstract framework like the NIST AI RMF into concrete rules for each layer. For the tech teams, it gives you clear rules of the game so you can innovate without accidentally stepping on a landmine. And for business leaders, this is huge. It's how you finally define trustworthy AI in a way you can actually enforce and get real reporting on.
Okay, moving on up to Layer 1. Think of this as the front door to your AI house. This is the application layer. It's the chatbots, the co-pilots, the web UIs, and the APIs that your customers and your employees are using every single day. It's the visible tip of the iceberg, where the value is obvious, but also where the risk becomes very, very public.
At this layer, everyone's got a job to do. Security pros are on the front lines, fighting things like prompt injection. That's basically like tricking a chatbot by saying, hey, ignore all your rules and give me the admin password. For the AI and tech pros, this is where user experience and security have to be best friends. And the #1 rule is simple.
treat all user input as untrusted. And for business leaders, this layer is your brand. When a regulator or a journalist takes a screenshot of your AI messing up, it's going to be a screenshot of this layer.
All right, layer 2. This is like the central nervous system of your AI. It's the orchestration layer. This is where AI stops being just a single model and starts acting like a really complex system with agents and tools and workflows. It's the hidden logic that decides, okay, AI, you can use this tool, but not that one. If you have an AI that reads a support ticket, then queries a database, then drafts a response, all that coordination happens right here.
The risks here are systemic. For security, it's all about preventing tool abuse. What's stopping an AI agent from misusing a powerful tool to, delete all the customer records? For all you tech folks out there, just think of this layer as having root access to your AI. If it's compromised, everything it touches is compromised. And for business leaders, this is the point where automation risk becomes very real. You have to decide where the non-negotiable human checkpoints need to be.
Next up, layer 3, data. This is the fuel for your AI for sure, but it's also a gigantic attack surface. This layer is everything the AI learns from or uses on the fly. The initial training data, the knowledge bases for your RAG systems, and all that sensitive operational data that's flowing through it in real time. So, at the data layer, security teams are worried about two huge things. Data poisoning, where an attacker feeds you bad data to mess up your model. And of course, the exposure of sensitive stuff like PII. For the tech pros, you have to treat data as a compliance boundary. Strong data lineage isn't a nice-to-have, it's essential. And for business leaders, this is where your biggest regulatory risks, like HIPAA and GDPR, live. It's also where your most valuable IP is concentrated. So here's the question for your team. If this entire data layer got leaked tomorrow, what's our absolute worst-case scenario? And how you answer that question, well, that tells you exactly how much you need to invest right here.
Now we're at the core, layer 4, the model itself. This is the brain of the operation, the large language models or the smaller specialized models that do the heavy lifting. Whether it's a giant model from a big provider or one you've carefully fine-tuned yourself, it's a piece of math that represents a massive investment in your core IP.
Securing the model itself has some really unique challenges. Security pros have to worry about someone just stealing the model, but also these more subtle attacks like model inversion. It's a sneaky way of basically integrating the model until it coughs up the private data it was trained on. For tech teams, the key is to treat models just like any other production software, with a full lifecycle. And for business leaders, this layer represents years of R&D. For a lot of companies, the security of this layer is a real factor in the company's valuation.
And that brings us all the way down to the bedrock, layer 5, infrastructure. This is all the hardware and the runtime environment where everything else lives. We're talking GPU clusters, Kubernetes, the cloud platforms, the networking. It's the concrete foundation, the steel beams, everything that holds the whole house up.
Down here, security teams are doing the fundamental work, hardening the environment, managing supply chain risk. For tech pros, this layer sets the performance limits, but it's also your blast radius limiter. When something goes wrong, and it will, good infrastructure is what contains a small fire and stops it from becoming a raging inferno. And for business leaders, this layer is pure bottom line. It's your cost, it's your resilience, and it's your vendor risk, all rolled into one. All right, so we've done the tour. We have this powerful 6-layer model, but a model on a slide is useless, right? So what do you do with this? Let's get really practical and build an action plan you can use tomorrow.
And look, you don't need to boil the ocean here. You can start small. Just follow these 5 steps. 1. Get a cross-functional team in a room and whiteboard your AI systems against these 6 layers. Just see where everything fits. 2. Create a super simple risk register, layer by layer, and put a name next to each risk. 3. Take the compliance stuff you already do, like NIST or ISO, and just map it to these layers. 4. Build one dashboard with just a handful of key metrics for each layer. And 5. Review this stack layer by layer in the meetings you're already having. It's all about making real progress, one small, consistent step at a time.
And that brings us to the end, but I want to leave you with something more than a summary. This is a challenge. The next time you're in a meeting and someone is talking about AI transformation, I want you to ask this one powerful question. Show me our AI across these 6 layers and tell me who owns the risk at each layer. If your team can answer that question clearly and confidently, then you're not just doing AI. You're managing it, you're securing it, and you are governing it like the critical part of the business it has become.
Thanks for watching our content. Please like, subscribe, and share.